share group, isn't it?
Okay, let's hope we're not on air.
All I did was press the button.
Oh, well, are we live?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're live. There we go.
Oh my goodness, there we go. Look, you know, tonight it's about being organic in this business. You know, like I've always said that this is not something that I, you know, have been trained in. It's something that I'm just having a go at it. Like I'm bringing these beautiful stories to you, like about amazing people, just like Dean Jack that's sitting next to me. And this is, we weren't ever going to do a show tonight, but fortunately, Dean arrived on my doorstep yesterday and we started talking, and I got the guts on a really good story. So I thought it deserves to be told, right? So
Yeah,
don't be
right.
nervous. Like we said, we're not going to be nervous. We're good mates, and we're going to talk about. Well, let's get you to tell the story about what happened. Like you found a son that you didn't know you had.
That's right. That's
Right. So, what was? Tell me the story. Tell me how it all happened.
Well, 16 years ago, I had a relationship that was just short, about 2 months, with this girl, young lady at the time. We were in our early 20s, and it was only for about 2 months, and we got along really well, but then it ended really quick, and we basically, at the end of it, she told me that she was pregnant, and I sort of was, because, you know, women have said that to other men in the past when they've split up, I thought, oh, okay, and
Because
a lot
they think that by saying that they're going to keep them from departing, like, you know, from splitting up. So they say, you know, they're having a baby and then blah blah. So I know it's only 2 months into that relationship and you split.
Yeah, and there was other things that sort of made me have my doubts, and so when she said that, I went, oh, okay, and and then as it turns out,
it really did happen.
Yeah.
So tell me the story about how you actually discovered it.
Okay, well, it was November last year.
Yeah. And you're married now, so this is you and your wife sitting in.
Yeah. My wife and I were sitting there chatting, and I told her throughout our whole relationship, one of my relationships that I had with a woman ended, and she said she was pregnant, but then I never heard back from her, so I didn't know whether it was true, or we lost contact. So I didn't know whether it was true or whether, you know, she bought it or what happened. So I just thought, oh, okay, maybe it didn't happen. But I'd always told my wife that that's how the relationship ended, and I'd always wondered, you know, I never actually found out whether she did or didn't. So one night we were sitting there, and Alana asked me, you know, where was this girl from, and what was the name, and I told her, and she looked it up on Facebook, and she was scrolling through, and she found a photo of her and this boy that looked like one of my other sons, and she said, oh, I think I found her, and she showed me a photo, and it was just sort of like we both just went, oh, what, because he looked so much like a mixture of me and my other son. So we were like sort of blown away, thinking, oh, wow.
Did you think for 1 minute that, like, did you ever think that, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do anything?
Oh, well, we were shocked. We were like, oh no, it was true. And then, got flooded with quite a lot of emotions, because, you know, I was sort of like, I felt really bad, because I thought, you know, we didn't have any proof that he was, but because of the uncanny sort of looks and similarities, I was sort of like, and I felt really, oh no, and I felt guilty, I felt happy, I felt sad, you know, and it was quite a bit of an emotional ride that night, especially. And the next day, my wife said to me, so how do you feel? And I said, I don't know. And she said, well, what do you think you're going to do about it? And I said, oh, well, I'm going to have to contact him. I'm going to have to make contact and just see what's going on, you know. And I didn't want to interrupt his life because, for all I know, we'd have to do a DNA test, you know, but we were pretty sure. I was pretty sure. I just felt it, and I sort of thought, well, you know, for all we know, he could be happily, you know, thinking someone else is his father. I didn't want to disturb his life or anything, but I thought, you know, I've got to just contact the parents and the grandparents. I could see through Facebook that he was with his grandparents, and I thought, oh, well, I'll contact the grandmother. And so that's what we did. We inboxed the grandmother and just said, look, hi, do you remember me? You know, I remember your daughter was saying that she thought she might have been pregnant to me, and I think he, Bailey's his name. I thought Bailey could be mine, and she was like, oh wow, you know, and it sort of, she replied straight away and asked a few questions, and we sort of messaged back and forth, and then she said, call me. So I called her, and she said, well, you know, like, she said, we're very straightforward. We were happy to talk to Bailey. Just as it turns out, Bailey was going through a time at that time where he was sort of questioning where he came from and trying to, what's the word? You know, trying to
Identify,
yeah, and it sort of was a coincidence because he didn't think that the man he'd been told thought was his dad. So his grandmother said, oh well, how about I'll tell Bailey about it and I'll get back to you. So they told Bailey about, I know Dean's contacted us, he thinks that he could be your father, and everyone agreed that well, before we go any further, let's just do a DNA test and then we'll worry about it. And so I just went, yeah, no worries, straight away bought a DNA test and went from there. And it took 2 months to get the DNA results back. So just before Christmas last year we found it.
Well, how was that? How was that waiting period for you? Like that couple of months? How did you feel going through that couple of months?
Oh, it was exciting really, because in that time we'd been talking with the grandparents, you know, and they went back to the mother, and the mother was like, yeah, you know, like Dean could be the father, you know, and Bailey was excited, and we were looking at photos and zooming in, and you could just, his hands looked like mine, you know, he looked like it was my build, and we were confident anyway, and knowing that he was very accepting and excited to get the results back was even better, like, so it was good, it worked out really well. And then just before Christmas, just gone, yeah, we got the results back.
What a great Christmas present.
Yeah.
So, but your son actually, he had times where he was asking his family members about whom he thought was his father at that time, that he was doubting the fact that he didn't look anything like him.
Yep.
He didn't feel that he was his father. He just, something was always...
Yeah, because his mother had moved on and was married to another man and had other kids to him, and he was living with his grandmother, and he didn't feel like he could identify with the man that he was told or thought could have been his father. So he was excited to find out, you know, and as it turns out, we're very similar. So we got mannerisms the same and stuff like that. So
that's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a blowout, really.
What about the man that was always put forth as his father? Like, did he have much to do with him in his life?
Not a great deal, no. And that's you know, like, because if he had have, like, if Bailey had have had a good relationship, you know, I didn't want to interfere. I was just like, I just thought, oh well, I've got to let him know if he wants me, I'm here. If not, you know, because I felt really bad, and I felt I was disappointed, you know, and I felt ripped off really because I'd missed out on all these years, and you know, but everything happens for a reason, and so yeah, it all turned out for the best, and he didn't really have much to do with the guy, as it turns out. So.
And like, do you know how he took it? Like,
he wasn't very happy. He felt ripped off too. You know, when
It's a very confusing situation
Well, he
isn't it,
only-
for everyone.
he only found out a few months ago that, you know, that I was his actual father. And
Like a few months ago, just recently.
yeah.
So even though you've known since November,
Oh, since Christmas, yeah.
since
just
Christmas,
before-
and it's now September.
Yeah, he only sort of found out a couple months ago, yeah.
Wow, so how was he told?
Bailey contacted him, as far as I know, yeah, and I just heard that, yeah, he wasn't very happy. He felt ripped off and, you know, lied to and all that. But he didn't really play much of a father role to him, as I've been led to believe. So I don't think he's, you know, it's not like he was paying maintenance and doing the father role and weekends and living the life as his father. You know, he didn't really live the life. So yeah.
So do you think that maybe he had a feeling deep down that he wasn't his father?
Yes, I think he questioned it. I think
Yeah.
he questioned it too, because there was times that the mother, the grandparents had said to him, well, you know, why don't, if you want custody, why don't you? Because at one stage apparently he wanted custody of Bailey when he was 2. And they said, well, if you want custody, go and get a DNA test, and no worries. But he refused to ever do a DNA test, so he probably didn't want to know at that stage. So, but he must have had his doubts.
So how long after you found out, in the November or just before Christmas, did your son find out?
That same day, we found out. I think it was the Saturday night or Friday or Saturday night, and then we contacted them the very next day, and basically that night bought a DNA test online. So it was like just bang, because the grandparents went straight to him and said, look, Dean's contacted us. He thinks he could be your actual father. How do you feel? You know, and that's when they came back and said, oh, let's do DNA. I went, yeah, no worries, and bought a test that night online.
Wow. And
Yeah.
so you can buy these things online.
Yes, but
This is just crazy.
yeah,
Isn't it? Like,
it was about $300. So
Yeah.
this wasn't that cheap. And when we googled it, it was in Victoria. And I thought, oh yeah, cool. No worries, we got a DNA test from in Victoria, and they ended up sending it to Vancouver in Canada. And so that's why it took 2 months to actually find out. Yeah.
oh wow. So when did you when did you actually meet him? How long after you got the results back, or did you meet him before you got the results back?
No.
So
No.
took a couple of months.
Yeah, we even though Bailey felt that I was his father, and we'd sort of became friends on Instagram, and so he could just see photos. We couldn't really talk, but he could look at photos of me, and I could look at photos of him, and just through chatting to them, everyone was like believing that I was the father, and Bailey was hoping that I was the father, and so was everyone, because the other bloke hadn't had much to do with him, and they thought, oh, well, you know, they knew that I was a family man, and they thought, oh, we hope that they were hoping I was the father, and we actually went and watched him. He's quite a good footballer, and he was at Christmas time he was trying out for the South Coast Dragons team, and so we were hoping to get the results because he wanted us to come watch, and because it took so long we didn't get the results, so we just went and said we'll be there, but we won't intrude. We'll just sit in the car and watch, but we'll just know that we'll be there.
God, how did that feel for you? Like what sort of feelings, you know, engulfed you at that stage? Like you're sitting in the car and you're watching this young man playing footy. What was going through your mind then?
I was convinced that he was my son.
Yeah.
I just could feel it, and just from looks and all those sort of things. Even though to look at a photo, he doesn't look like me, but if you look at a photo of my son, you can see that he's somewhere between. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was weird, really, but exciting. It was exciting, you know, Oh, because I've got 3 other kids, and I sat them down and I said, I've been waiting for once we got the results, and the results were like 99.99999%.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, all but my
There's
twin.
no denying that, I think.
All but my twin. Yeah. And I sat them down and I said, oh, guess what? I said, I got something to tell you. And they were like, oh, yeah, what then? I said, well, this Christmas I got you a bra.
And how old are they? How old are you?
Ryder's 12. Harmony's about to turn 19. And,
Wow.
Yeah, and Jordan will be 21 in February. So
Wow, and they've got a brother. So what was their, like, how did they react to that?
they sort of sat there like looking at
Stunned.
me, sort of stunned, and they're like, "Yeah, right, Dad, are you serious?" I'm going, "Yeah, yes." And then they sort of was like, took a bit to sink in, you know. And then once it sunk in, the next time they come over, I said, "Look, I've got something else to tell you," and they all went, you know, "Whoa, what now?" You know? No, just joking. Yeah, that's right. But no, they all get along, you know, so it's good. It's good.
So when you told your 3 children,
Yeah.
What were their reactions when did they say to you, you know, like, we're excited that we've got a brother, or you know, like, we want to meet him now, or were they like really excited to meet him, or were they just like a bit standoffish kind of thing?
No, they were quite excited to meet him. I sort of like explained to them, look, I said there was nothing sinister went on. I didn't cheat on anyone or nothing. It was a relationship in between my 2 marriages, and I said, you know, I'd say, you know, but he's definitely your brother. We've had DNA tests, and you know, I showed them photos and stuff, and I said, you know, it was a couple of weeks later that they actually got to. I sort of spent a bit of time with him on my own, and he came over and hung out with my wife and I, and then. And as it is now, we have dinner all together once a week, so we get to spend time all together. Yeah.
So the first time that you physically met him,
Yep.
how did that happen? What actually happened?
Well, it was basically the day we got the DNA tests back.
Yeah.
I just sent them a photo because I got it emailed to me. I got the results, so I screenshot it and just texted it to her, and I just waited. I didn't say anything, but just sent the results, and it came back. Yay! We're so happy because they were hoping, and I said, well, what are you doing? Do you just want to go and we'll meet you wherever you want? And they said, oh, well, you're welcome to come to our house, or we can go somewhere else. And we said, well, how about we just go somewhere neutral or wherever Bailey's comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you ask Bailey wherever he wants.
Big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, if he wanted us to go to his home, we'd rock up there, or... Anyway, we ended up going to the local club and just having a couple of drinks and sat down, just my wife and I and him and his two grandparents.
And what was that, like, what was that feeling like? Like, okay, you've rocked up at the club.
I was very nervous, getting there to meet him, I was quite nervous, but excited too, you know. And because there'd been so much anticipation and everyone was hoping that, you know, that it was going to be...
The pressure was on, wasn't it?
Yeah, so everyone was happy, so that was the main thing. It was just getting over those nerves and everything, and then the very first time Bailey and I went and had a game of golf together and played golf, and yeah, it was good.
So I'm talking
and
about when you turned up at the club.
Yeah.
Like that. I am really, really, I know he's trying to get out of this, but now for those of you that don't know, I went through a similar thing with my father, and I didn't meet my father until I was 17. And I met him up until I was 7. And then at 17, by coincidence, I found my father, and that I'm just trying to get a bit of feedback from you, because I know what I was like when I knew I was about to meet my father.
Yeah, the age of 17.
And it's like this, it's like you want to just run. You want to, you want to go, oh no, can we just come back tomorrow and do this? And you get all excited, and I remember getting really lightheaded.
Yes.
Because I was that excited, and I think I forgot to breathe.
Yeah, so it was nervous and
Yeah.
excitement mixed together,
Yeah,
wasn't it? A bit of
yeah.
anxiety and
Yeah.
but-
And so did you hug? Like, did you run to each other and hug, or
Actually,
what was the first words
we
you said
did.
to
We
each
sort
other?
of we had it. We went, "G'day, mate, how are you?"
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah.
Just shook hands and yes, we hugged because we'd talked about that. Funny enough, you know, oh, what do you think? You know, how's it going to be? How will you know? And we talked to the grandmother, and I said like, she said, "Oh, how will Dean be?" And I was well, I'll just give him a hug. You know, I'm not, you know, and so they were happy with that. Everyone was sort of, because I didn't want to, like, if he wasn't, I didn't want to, you know,
He wasn't
make him
hugging
uncomfortable.
type, yeah. But how do you know that anyway?
No, yeah, so we just sort of had a handshake and a hug, go, mate, good to meet you, and, you know, sat down and just chatted, and, you know,
What'd you talk about?
well, not a great deal. We just both sat there smiling, and everyone else talked.
I know, it's a crazy feeling, isn't it?
It is,
like
yeah.
all this stuff that you
Looking
know.
at each other like,
Did you think about, like, I know what I was like I just wanted to, I was thinking about all the things I'm going to say.
yeah.
You know, and all the things I'm going to ask. I didn't ask any of them, and I didn't say any of them, because I remember just sitting there going,
Wow.
it was like I couldn't get anything out.
Yeah.
Because that, like, it's just insane, isn't it? All those years, like, you haven't.
Yeah, I think it was like we were like looking at each other going, oh yeah, I can see. And the grandparents said they could see it more when we were there together in person, that we looked.
Yeah, the
looked
mannerisms and stuff like that too, I guess.
Like. Yeah.
And
yeah.
did you think that of him? Like, do you talk to your son and you go, oh gosh, that's something I would say, or that just sounds like me, or you look like me, or your hands are the same? Do you do stuff like that?
Yeah, well, that's definitely, and we are very similar. I mean, I'm the same with my other sons. You know, I've always like I can identify with them as well, and then as soon as I met Bailey, I could identify with him straight away as well. I was sort of like, wow, you know. And one of the things was that when we were discussing one night how I said, oh yeah, I just wanted to learn to run right, and he said, yeah, me too. And so he's running right. So I does running right in the block letters, and so do I. You know, just funny things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm, you know, with all my kids, we've got sort of.
I thought you
Especially
meant
my
like
sons.
running.
And my daughter.
You want to
I-
run right, you know,
No,
like
running
I
right.
know running right. Yeah, right. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
now we're showing our age, but yeah. So, what was okay? What was the most precious thing that he said to you since you've met him?
Just called me dad. Yeah, it really
So
touched me.
when-
It felt really good.
When did that happen?
I had people had said he was referring to me as dad, but just the other week I heard him actually just call me dad. He sort of said it quietly, but he said, "Oh yeah, I want one, dad." And I was sort of like,
Oh.
yeah, and I saw that he had me as dad in his phone, and I was sort of like, yeah, it made me feel good. It was great.
Oh, that's so
And it's
lovely.
just to, you know, the even though it had been 15 years, we'd missed that we just both accepted each other and was happy and can just move forward now. And all I have to be is his mate, you know, like, which is good, you know, and you know, and all because my other kids are older, except for Ryder, you know, I'm just. It's good. I don't have to be the parent to any of them now. We just all get together for dinners once a week and we play cards and chat.
So
and
they
have
all
fun.
come together.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my oldest two, Harmony and Dryden, they've had their own time with Bailey too. The three of them have hung out
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
so cool, isn't
Yeah.
it? So is there, all right, because I know that this happens constantly in life to a lot of people.
Yes, definitely.
You know, like, you didn't know that you had a son, but a lot of people know that there is a son there or a daughter there, and, you know, years go by and, you know, they feel like a similar situation where they'll go, I don't want to interrupt their life, or I don't want to cause any pain for the parents that are being the parents.
That's right.
You know, like, what would you say to those folks out there that are living in a similar situation as you? Look down and talk to the viewers here.
Yep.
And give them your message of hope. As a father,
Yep.
what would you say to another father that's watching this that's in the same situation as you?
Well, I would definitely say that if you've got any doubts that you may have a child out there, and there's no harm in investigating. You know, I'd always thought that Bailey may have existed, and it did play on my mind, obviously, throughout the 15 years. And I just wish I had have investigated earlier. Because there's no harm in investigating. I mean, if you don't want to impose on their life, you can always contact a family member and just see how they're going, and if, and if they're happy, or whether they, because they might be wanting to find their father. And, and a lot of guys have been in that position where, women have said, "Oh, I'm pregnant," and because when I've told guys, mates and stuff, I found my son, and they'd muck around. Oh yeah. Oh, geez, I wonder if I've got a couple out there, when
I
they're
can
broken.
understand that.
Yeah, and they're mucking
totally,
around, but there's a lot of guys that are serious like that, and they, just, there's no harm in investigating. I should have investigated it, and I feel bad that I didn't, but, because there was no contact and that, I just sort of thought, well, it mustn't have been, But I shouldn't have just, I shouldn't have done that.
and you've done it, and it's awesome, and now
That's the
you've
guy.
been united, and now he has a real dad and a great family, and he's got brothers and sisters that he didn't know he had.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And like, speaking from the other side, being the child, like me, like, if that's the case, and that you've got a parent out there, I mean, I searched for my dad for many years, but the thing is that, don't be afraid. Like Dean's saying, don't be afraid to investigate that situation, because, there could be someone at the other end that's trying to do the same, and they may not be able to find you. So, I mean, don't be afraid. I mean, give it a crack, have a go at it, because it doesn't, like, you don't know what's going to open up for you in life. Suddenly, I found myself with a brother and sister. So,
you would have got to ask all your questions you wanted.
Absolutely. And I look so much like my dad, and I'm so much like my dad.
That's
there
awesome.
are a lot of people were hurt by the fact too that, so you've got to be aware of that, because a lot of people in my life were hurt by the fact that my father came back into my life. But I guess, that's a choice as an adult that we can all make, and, we're allowed to have those sort of choices. Like, that's what life's all about. And I chose to have my father in my life. But, it certainly enriched my life in other ways. Like I said, I now have an extra sister and a brother. So, and we often, fool around and say brother from another mother.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
it's funny how that comes out when we're sitting around and hanging out together. So, I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen in life, give it a go. We're on this earth for such a short time, we might as well just enjoy ourselves and investigate every opportunity that we have in life and embrace all the beautiful stuff around us. So, have a go at doing what you think. If you've been thinking about it for a long time, if you're a parent looking for a child, don't give up. No matter what in life, don't give up, because there are people out there and organisations that can help you. So tonight I am going to say thank you to some of the most amazing people that make this show worthwhile for me, because every week they watch, and there's so many people out there that I can't mention everybody's name, but I must say today is the 11th of September, and I want to honour all those beautiful souls that were lost in the tragedy was 18 years ago, September 11. So it's hard to believe that was 18 years ago, but I've never forgotten those photographs of those people jumping from those buildings. I can't get that out of my head. So, I honour all the people that were involved in the rescues and all that, just the first responders. Like, thank you to everyone that played an amazing part in the rescue of all those beautiful people. And I honour the ones that have lost their lives too. So tonight I say thank you to Steve O'Grady, Jenny Scott, Amy Beckett, Georgina Harry, Cherie Tro-Britton, Reese Smithies, Maureen Philpott, Janine Robertson, thank you, Ian Edwards, Kira Lee McGuinness, Mel Humphreys, Angela Waters, hi Angela, Marie Patterson, thank you Marie, Philip Barrington, thank you so much. Helen Buchanan, Clinton Graham. Now, Clinton, I will be interviewing you in the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure of the actual date. I do believe it's within the next 2 anyway. So that's going to be a great story. And for anyone that's interested in following that story, we'll be talking about same-sex marriage and the laws and how that's just changed so much for so many beautiful people out there and enabled them to be with their life partners. So Latika Jade, thank you Latika, our beautiful girl. June Barr, thank you June for tuning in. I believe this is the first time you've tuned in, so hopefully you'll be having a little listen to us every week. And Sharon Sharp, thanks so much. Louise Melrose Henley, thank you. Zenon Barker Chukas, thank you. I'm glad I can say that surname. Arnie Mal, thank you. Jodie McCarter. Katie Smitties, thanks so much. Marion Brown, thank you. Robin Byrne, Tony McNamara, Linda Carroll, Donald Murray, thanks Donald. Thank you so much, Don. Margaret Moffat, thank you. Pat T, Philip Stair, thanks Phil. Alana Jack, Jennifer Rowan, and look, all the other people that have joined in tonight, thanks so much for being a part of my world and enabling me to bring you these most amazing warriors in life and to share their awesome stories. So I'll be seeing you next week, same time, 7:30. If anyone needs to look at any of the shows, they can go to the website, which is www.onthecouchwithkelly.com, and you can view them all there. You can also go to my Facebook page, On the Couch with Kelly, and have a look at all the previous shows. So it's good night from us, Dean. Thanks so much for coming on. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now, and know in life you're going to be okay. So let's thumbs up for being okay. Thank you.